2 p.m. for the Artist Exchange radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com. You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show with your boy, Brother Mike. I will be your host, and I am here with my partners in consciousness, my co-host, the lovely Miss Janice, and one of our awesome team members, Mr. Derrick Woodson. I hope everybody's having a good Monday. We are off to a late start today, but that's okay. That's what Monday's all about. We had a few technical difficulties, but we worked through it, so we are here to bring you an exciting show. Today's show, we're going to talk about black cycles. Things that we pass down from generation to generation, things we should keep, things we should change, and maybe even some things we should add to these cycles that we pass down. But before we get into that, I'm going to send out some invites, see if I can get you guys to hang out with us and talk to the team and see how their weekend was. How was your weekend, Miss Janice?
Let me think about it.
Give that some thought.
No, it was good.
It was good?
Yeah, I had a great weekend.
Anything uneventful?
No.
No?
No and no.
Okay.
Eventful,
all right.
no. Uneventful.
What about you, Mr. Woodson?
Oh, I had, well, Saturday was awesome. My son blocks every weekend on the football tip.
Okay, all right.
Big fella making noise out there. So I had a
Making
good
noise
time.
with the boys.
Yeah, they're doing real good. Edgewood, undefeated. Them boys is running.
Represent. Yeah, my weekend was fine too. Nothing uneventful. I pretty much was home, you know, chilling out, trying to live and learn, trying to grow. You know how I do. So what we got going on in current events? Anything worthy?
I didn't go through and pick a lot.
Okay.
Because I just wanted to talk about the Amber Geiger.
Well, let's get
case.
into it.
And we can start first with, the verdict.
Okay.
Of course it was guilty, but what was it, 10 years?
Yes. 10 years, and
What did you guys think about the 10 years?
I thought the 10 years was ridiculous. They give black people more than 10 years for drugs. Okay,
Right.
They ain't harmed nobody, just got caught, you know, with certain types of drugs. They give them 10 years in jail. I think they gave her the lightest sentence as possible. And don't quote me, but it's my understanding that Texas law, if it's less than 10 years, you can appeal it, so you may not even have to do any jail time at all. And that was my understanding, and I recently saw on Facebook as of yesterday that her lawyers are now actively appealing the judgment.
Yes, they are. I seen that too.
You saw that too,
Yes, I
right?
did.
So it's a good chance this woman may not spend any time in jail that we thought of. Now, I guess my question is, why would a black judge do this? What's y'all take on that?
That's,
Well, my opinion,
Sure.
my opinion is this:
It's
they did
valid.
that. They did that only for the sole purpose to try to make it level playing field.
True.
I don't think they did that. It was like, I think it was pretty much planned. Because if it was a white judge in front of a white woman that killed a black man, it wouldn't have looked as good as it did with a black woman. I'm just saying.
Okay. I think it's definitely all about her keeping her job. And one of the things that is unbeknownst to us is a term called meritorious manumission. You ever heard of that?
No, sir.
Okay, so meritorious manumission, in a nutshell, is a law that they put on the books back in the days of slavery. And to my understanding, it's still on the books, right? Mm-hmm. But even if it isn't, we have black people today that still enact it. So what the law basically stated is, if you committed an act that was in the benefit of someone white that went against someone black as a black person, the white people would reward you. Okay, so if you found out about a slave revolt and then you went to master and said, hey, listen, they talking about revolting on Saturday night, I'm informing you about it. Master would reward you for doing that. If you could go as far as to saving a white person's life that was being attacked by a black slave,
Right.
and you stopped him from killing the white master, you could actually earn your freedom. Excuse me. So meritorious manumission is still in play to this very day. This is why we have so many black people that sit at the top, whether they politicians, CEOs of companies, you know, some athletes, whatever, who actually don't do anything for the black community. But you will see them actively doing things against the black community, speaking out against a situation, being a judge, giving a murderer 10 years in jail, knowing she should have got life in prison. This is meritorious manumission. These people are keeping their jobs and they're keeping their status, and then they're making sure that they don't end up like the witness ended up, because the neighbor who was the witness, who testified against her, suddenly got murdered. And this is the country we live in, where they know that we all know that the police probably did this. You get what I mean? Or had something to do with this, so forth and so on. So they don't even mind that. It serves as a deterrent to other black people. You know, this is what we'll do to you. This is all, just keep you in line, keep your mouth shut. So I think it was meritorious manumission, and she's going to make sure that she stays on that bench by showing that she's going to give mercy to white people. And I bet she's the exact opposite with black people.
And she's gonna have a book out.
Absolutely, she's gonna be famous.
Yeah, I think that's all. It's more political gain. That's why she did it. But it's sad that that they place these people and they tell you to do a certain thing. That was a noble act that God did. Why should this man get slain by an officer who did completely wrong? Then for him to testify, he is killed. That blows me right there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's America.
Risked his life coming. He probably knew he was risking his life coming in there.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because there's also been a video that has surfaced on Facebook of the judge herself making a comment about the neighbor, the witness, and she mumbles under her breath, "I'm surprised he even showed up." Now the question is, why would she even be saying that? Did she have information that she knew that could have happened to this man for testifying? Was he threatened before he testified? I don't know, speculation. But why did she make such a comment? Look on Facebook, YouTube, all the little gossip channels. I'm sure they got it. You can find it. So it's definitely something that appears to be foul play. As they say, something don't smell right.
Yeah, because it didn't smell right when, you know, Botham's 18-year-old brother was on the stand and, you know, saying all that he said.
Right.
That wasn't right. But then, you know, of course, when the key witness got killed, it kind of makes sense.
It kind of makes sense now.
At that point, it kind of all, you know, came together and made a little bit sense.
It definitely gives clarity as to why he got up there and was like, "I forgive you." As a matter of fact, I don't even want you to go to jail. Can I go hug her? So maybe he knew his life was on the line. You know what I mean? And we're just from the outside looking at it and saying, what a sellout. You know what I mean? Why would he do that? So forth and so on. Yeah.
Especially with it was his brother that was, you know, murdered. So, I mean, it just, after, you know, that witness died, things just, you know, was a little clearer to me.
Yes, there's definitely some foul play involved. And I believe the judge has something to do with it. I believe she's in on everything, and she's willing to, you know, throw somebody's life down the drain.
Well, of course, the judge had to be in on it. That's why she was the one who did the 10 years.
Right, knowing that could be appealed. I don't even think she wanted to give her 10 years. I mean, I looked at the video of when she was mumbling under her breath. I'm surprised he even showed up. She didn't look like that smiling woman that I saw in other photos. It was like I could see the wickedness on her.
Well, we should have known something was up when she came off the bench to go give her a hug, too, in the Bible. Does that happen?
It doesn't happen.
My bad. I really didn't mean to laugh. I swear I did.
She said it so innocently.
Right, I really didn't mean to laugh. All jokes aside. I'm like,
does
man.
that happen? So you know what they're doing with that is they're now showing that before she hugged the murderer, she had just hugged his parents, the guy who died. How you say his name? Botham or something like that? So what they're saying is she was hugging the parents, and in the process of hugging the parents, the murderer asked for a hug too. And then that's when she hugged her, and then that's the part that they showed us on social media. I'm saying, who cares? You shouldn't have been hugging the murderer. Period. I don't care what the setup was. You understand what I mean? Before that, it's unheard of.
It's lines that you do not cross. She crossed the line that made everybody aware of certain privileges. Because when I went to court, I heard him say that I was a good citizen, but when he handed out that time to me, it wasn't the same hug. I didn't get a hug, handshake, or nothing.
Let me tell you, if you would have said to that judge, "Can I hug you?" he'd have said, "Son, you're going to jail. There's going to be plenty of people in there that want to hug you. You don't need to hug me."
Exactly. So my point saying that is, I don't know if this ties into it. I think the correctional officer was brushing her hair or something like that.
Yes.
I have never seen that in my entire life. Like every black person knows that the OJ story freed a lot of our minds, because it was the first time a black man got away, but got some justice.
Right.
Did that judge come off that bitch and hug him? Not at all.
Not at all.
So the difference is how society is set up now. Well, this person, because of her skin color, she is no longer a murderer.
They calling her Mammy, the CEO that was brushing her hair. They calling her Mammy.
As they say.
I'm just saying, this had to be the best murder trial ever. Like, you getting your hair combed, you getting hugs, you getting Bibles, you getting people telling you don't even
treated like a little queen, right?
It's a bunch of sisters gonna had a bunch of cornrows in there. They came in and looked like they just got locked up last night. They ain't do their hair.
Nope.
She brushed her hair nicely, gentle strokes.
It was just a crazy.
She showed her that she cared. I care about you.
Oh, I get the mammy thing now. My mind's a little slow today, fellas.
Yo, you get the mammy?
Yeah, I get it now. My mind a little slow. But if you look at the older black women in the, back in the slavery times, they would feed the younger white children and the women and the young girls, and they would brush their hair for them, slow and gentle.
Right.
So now I get it now.
So I'll read a comment here. Shout out to Dwayne Harrison, DJ Big Man. What's going on, brother? He says they had a video of the people on the jury talking about 10 years they gave the cop, and they say they thought 10 years was enough. Yeah, which is crazy, you know what I mean? But yeah, I actually saw that video where they were discussing it. It was actually a younger black female, and she felt that 10 years was sufficient. And I'm thinking to myself, see, this is why they targeted those type of people for the jury, who have no consciousness of what really happens in a court system with black people versus what happens with white people. I mean, this is a young black woman saying, I thought 10 years was enough. For murder, shorty? Like what planet do you live on?
Cold blood.
People get 10 years in jail for second-degree assault. You know what I mean? For punching somebody in the face and sending them to shock trauma. You know, this was a cold-blooded murder. She should have got life in prison, if not the electric chair. You know?
This was the saddest.
A great comment, though.
Ever seen.
I'll chime in with the time, as far as like, I don't make excuses for what I did. I did it. I got out there. I acted. He's a witness to trying to get me to leave them streets alone.
Right.
But they gave me 10 off the break.
See what I'm saying?
For a confidential buy when I served a confidential informant. That was 10 already. Not including what he gave me on the back end of it. She killed someone in the wrong apartment. He had no gun. She was in no fear.
Right.
And she got 10 years, and they felt sorry for her. What about the innocent people in jail right now who are lied on?
Right.
Beaten, all these other things, and thrown in jail?
Right, absolutely.
I don't get it.
Yeah, and the judge was suspicious from the very beginning because she tried to allow that particular clause to be used. I forgot what it's called, but the clause is basically a stand your own ground clause.
Right.
And she allowed it to be used within the trial. See, in my opinion, she thought that was going to be the back door to get this girl guilty with the jury. But the jury evidently saw through that bull and still gave her a guilty. But what's so crazy about that particular clause, it's a stand your ground clause. The judge allowed it to be a part of the trial. How do you get stand your grounds when you're not in your goddamn house?
Right.
You in somebody else's house and you getting to use, I stood my grounds. You know what I mean? Stood my ground.
I didn't back down.
Yeah, I didn't back down. That is for people within their homes. It's a bunch of nonsense.
When he came out of his bathroom, I drew my weapon. Like,
right.
What are you talking about?
I'm going to give my statement like I've given before. I've explained this multiple times. I'm going to say it again. There's a timeline with prophecies. We are in an awakening. And we are going to see more and more crazy things where the Most High God is going to wake us up to who's against us and who's for us. He's always used Europeans as a rod against us to wake us up. And that's all we're seeing. And he's going to keep allowing it to happen until we face the reality and say, okay, there is a group of people out here who are against us. You know what I mean? And no, it's not everyone in the group. We are aware of that. But it's definitely the ones that sit in the high places, and that's what counts. You know what I mean? It's you know, when people like to defend it and say, oh, you know, well, I'm cool with Dave, I'm cool with Scott. That's wonderful. But they're not politicians. They're not judges. They're not doctors. You get what I'm saying? They're not in positions where they can actually hurt people. The most racist people in this country are people in high positions. This is where white supremacy comes from. And we're going to keep getting hit with it until we wake up and start taking care of ourselves. That's what I have to say on that. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm just sad a
Wake
young
up.
man had to lose his life for this whole entire hoax here.
Right.
That young man had
Dwayne
to
Harrison
stop.
says young black man killed a cop dog and they gave him 45 years. Exactly. 45 years for killing an animal.
But you know how they, pardon me again, you know how they do that?
Yeah.
They label that
As
dog as an officer.
Right. They make a dog an officer.
Badge,
You understand what I'm saying?
badge number,
Right.
all of it. He has
Whole nine.
everything.
Whole nine. Well, if you go back through the history of black people and white people, their dogs have always held a higher status in society than us. You get what I'm saying? As
Get 'em,
they,
boy.
and look, as they said, the slaves were chained up in barns and slaves' houses. The dog was on the front porch chilling. You understand what I'm saying? He wasn't being in prison, so it's not surprising whatsoever. But yeah, I definitely feel bad for the things that have taken place. But hopefully it serves as a wake-up call for the rest of us. You know, like there's going to come a time you got to face the reality that America, though it may be the best country supposedly on the planet, many people who would argue that and disagree with that. But for us, the people who are here, the black people in this country, this has not been a picnic. This has been quite a ride. And even though the ride's been better for us than our ancestors, it's still a challenge. And I think we do our ancestors an injustice when we try to act like people who hate us don't hate us. Okay, they went through a lot of trouble. People always talking about, well, our ancestors died so you could vote. Yeah, they died for more than that. Okay, how about you go for the reality of who your enemy may be versus the reality of if you can vote and if you can't vote? Because that's the only time I hear us talk about our ancestors. You understand me? When it comes to voting, y'all need to vote. You know, black people died so you can vote. Black people died for everything. Black people died so I can sit here and have this show. You get what I mean? So let's not just focus on just the whole voting thing. Right, exactly. They died for everything. You know, we just don't want to face the reality, and it keeps hitting us. You know, so let's. I'm about to get heated on this.
I'm listening.
You know,
I'm right with you.
My passion is deep on this. You know, because I've been, holding it down, trying to put certain, messages out here for a long time, man, and we keep, looking at things from the wrong perspective. So anyway, anything else in current events?
No.
That's it.
One more.
Let's do it.
A bunch of crooked cops out here in the city. So it's a lot of people. If you are wrongly accused of something, and you know one of these officers that wrongly put someone in prison, get that money up.
Get that money up. Yeah, it's time that we recognize that the police are a gang. I've been saying it for years. They are a gang, and that's why they do gang stuff like get rid of people. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of people. I can't prove what happened to the neighbor as a witness, but we all a suspect that it may have involved some people it shouldn't involved.
Right.
You get what I mean? It's the best way I can put it. I can't accuse the Dallas Police Department of anything. I don't know what they did, what they didn't do. I'm just going to say it ain't looking good for you. It ain't looking good. So anyway, let's move on then to the show. So today's show, we're going to talk about black cycles. Cycles are things that we pass down from generation to generation. So we want to go over some of the ones that are very common to us and decide, should we keep this? Should we change this? Or should we add other things onto it? So we're going to talk about black cycles. But you know what? Without even grabbing the paper, let's just keep it flowing off the current event. So how about the cycle of forgiveness? The cycle of us continuously forgiving people who bring harm against us. Is this a cycle we should keep?
Absolutely not.
No, indeedy.
Absolutely not.
That cycle should have been gone a long time ago.
Should have been gone a long time ago, right? So this is all a part of Stockholm Syndrome. You know what I mean? For those who don't know what Stockholm Syndrome is, this is something that experts have determined that the black community suffers from, at least here in America. And it simply means love for your oppressor. You know, so even though the oppressors are pressing you and holding you down, a lot of folks believe that black people still love white people more than they love black people. And I believe it's some truth in that, you know, because we easily kill each other. You know, it's people on Facebook and on social media right now explaining, look how easy so many black people are in agreement about forgiving this white woman for murdering someone. But y'all don't forgive R. Kelly?
They didn't forgive Ray Rice.
Yeah, didn't forgive Ray Rice, didn't forgive R.
Ray
Kelly.
Rice lost
So why
his
is it
career.
that black people are so quick to forgive white people, but won't forgive black people for nothing in the world? And let alone the fact that white people don't forgive black people either. I mean, white people are still mad at Michael Vick for a dog fight that he wasn't even there for. He went to jail for it, lost his career, the whole nine. When they find out he going to a team, they show up and protest with signs, and he's a murderer, he's a dog killer, so forth and so on. But so we don't get forgiven for a dog fight, but yet we forgive them for flat out murder. Murder, slavery, Jim Crow, Red Line, all this forgiveness. Where is this forgiveness coming from?
I know where it comes from. This is not the moment for.
I'm going all the way in.
Yeah, going all the way in. Going all the way in.
It comes from religion.
Okay.
Because
Absolutely.
Christianity, what it does, it says to, you know, turn the other cheek.
Yes.
And they pretty much invested that Bible into our minds to the
Yes.
point it became every day.
Yes.
It became a part of our lifestyle. If you do not do this for us, this will happen to you. So it stuck. It came from the top. Grandfather, grandmother, son, daughter, all the way down the chain of the cycle. Coming down. So every time you turn around, you can't do this. Love your neighbor and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, if my neighbor's harming me, I'm going to protect myself. Period.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with the religion aspect, but we're getting harmed. We're getting robbed, murdered, raped, hung, everything possible, and there's no justice, and we're fighting amongst each other on the dumbest stuff. We're slandering our people. Like, for example, R. Kelly. He did those things.
Right.
Ben Roethlisberger raped 3 women. He's still playing NFL right now as we speak.
And a star.
Nothing happened.
Nothing.
Ray Rice I don't condone beating women, but she deserved that shot that day. Period. Again, I don't condone beating women, but she deserved that shot that day. His career is ruined. They burned his jerseys.
No forgiveness.
Lost everything. And this woman kills a man in cold blood.
In his house.
In his house. His private dwelling, where he has the right to kill her. She kills him. Gets 10 years.
10 years.
I know lifers that been locked up for a stabbing, assault, something like that, are never coming home.
Right.
What they were saying, if I'm saying this right, she got 10 years. She might end up doing maybe a year.
Right.
At the most.
Well, they're appealing currently, you know.
Off the break.
Yeah, they're actually appealing right now. So, you know, depending on how the appeal goes, she may not get anything.
Because if she was locked up already, that credit goes to the time. Anytime she was in prison before she goes to court, goes to jail now,
Yes.
and they bring her back on appeal, that counts.
Absolutely.
She'll be home soon.
But I definitely agree with you. I think Christianity in particular has played a large part. And this is in no way to disrespect Christians, because I know a lot of good black people who are Christians are great people. We are talking about Christendom as a religion, as a whole. Not about your church, not about you as an individual. But that is where we were taught as a community of people to be so forgiving of white people in particular. This is why they made the Messiah J.C. White when he's really a black man. It was to subliminally plant in your mind to always have a godlike vision towards white people, and that's why we forgive them so much.
True.
You get what I'm saying? And they would literally say to you, "But what would Jesus do?" You know, well, if you actually read the Bible, Jesus probably would have stabbed that woman. But you know, I ain't one for gossiping. But read your Bible. You get what I mean? So the Bible was used against us. It was not the same Bible. It was the slave Bible. The slave Bible only contained 256 pages, right? So, I mean, 256 chapters. The original Bible that we know of as the canonized Bible has 1,139 chapters in it. So the slave Bible was a trimmed down version of the Bible that we have today. They took out all of the parts of it that dealt with rebellion. So they took out when Moses freed the Hebrews from Egypt. They took out all things that pointed to people being rebellious because they didn't want black people to learn that. They kept all the things like turn the other cheek, you understand what I mean, be forgiving, so forth and so on. Excuse me. So I definitely think it played a major part. But we are up on our first break. Stay with us. It's the Black by the Man radio show. We are talking black cycles, things we should change, things we should keep that we pass down from generation to generation. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
We line them up. We got to
I thought you was gonna have my money today.
Man, it is what it is.
Then last week you told me your wife was cooking.
Man, it is what it is.
Then again, I don't think I want your wife cooking because you don't like it.
Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio. It is what it is, 9/11.
Are they ready to? I know they're not ready to accept it, but yeah, exactly. That's my whole thing. Like, how many of them are really ready to think about it like that?
None.
You know, like
I think the problem is
like
even I don't even know how we got here, but it's inbred. Mm-hmm. You're not born to hate people. You're not born to distinguish between black and white and Asian and Hispanic. That's something that you're taught. You're taught. Point blank, period. My daughter came home and told me that her white teacher was black. Maybe it's because it's how she treated us. She don't see any color. But when it comes to all her friends, all her friends are mixed. All of her friends have a white parent, black, African, Hispanic, other parent.
So
children don't see color. You breed your children. Not breed.
Right.
You raise your children to see that.
Yeah, most definitely.
They don't see racism.
Well, I guess
I met a little girl who had a black doll, and she said because the black dolls are prettier than the white dolls. But then I've taken a black doll and a white doll and put it in front of two kids. And it's a study that they've done before. You put it in front of two kids, and you put it in front of a kid, and you ask them, which one is the nice one?
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/80.
Whatever happened to the times when we cared for one another? We share the same respect. What is happening? We're trading what's important for shiny things. I can't allow this blasphemy. It's blasphemy. Why would you treat yourself like that? We didn't come this far just to fall right back. Don't lose yourself, stay on track. Baby, you're a god. Baby, you're a god. Believe that. Full of the things that we've overcome. Full of unspoken battles we've won. You're so much better than that. Sometimes the truth ain't always catchy as rap. Stop chasing cheese or you get stuck in a trap. Go get your crown and never render it back. No. It's blasphemy. Why would you treat yourself like that? Stop all that blasphemy. We didn't come this far just to fall right back. Baby, you're a god. You're a god. You're a god. You're a god. Baby, you're a god. You're a god. Baby, you're a god. Believe that. You're way too gifted to stop and listen. It's condescending, not to mention all of our ignorance. Is their permission to? I know you like to turn up like that. With a drink to pull up like that. Well, baby, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Just make sure the God in you stays where it's at. You're the rising sun of a new day begun. Grind on till victory's won. I pray you do your thing till earth and heaven ring. Just don't forget where you come from.
let me talk to him. Oh, you ain't know? You ain't heard about?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
No matter platform.
All right, welcome back everybody to the Black Body Man Radio Show. In case you missed the top of the show, today's show is on black cycles. Black cycles are things that we pass down from generation to generation. So we want to go over a few of them that are pretty common amongst us that we're familiar with. We're going to decide if we should keep these cycles, if we should change them, and even if we should add new cycles to the things we pass down. So the first one we actually was just going over that wasn't on the paper. It was tied into the current events, and that was forgiving white people for the atrocious terroristic acts and savage behavior that they demonstrate against black people. And we always just forgive them. Now, I stand strong. If you do something like that to me, I'm not forgiving you. I'm sorry. If you murder my brother, I am not forgiving you. As a matter of fact, it's going to be other stuff that come with that, but that ain't for radio. I'm definitely not forgiving you. And, you know, maybe I'll get there in time. Maybe in 20 years, I'll change and, you know, and be like, okay, I can get by it now. But you're definitely not getting forgiveness from me. And I think it's funny how a lot of us don't pay attention to. That's the first thing they require from black people. Like I put a post up that said, why does America require black people to love America, but Americans don't have to love black people? You get what I mean? But they require us to love America.
Demand it.
Like it's white people out here that are so much they're sociopaths. Like they can't even understand why black people may feel the way they feel about America. Even though they witness us go to jail, harsh sentences, get murdered in the street by the police, and then they still look at you like, well, if you don't like it, you should leave here. Like, are you crazy? We built this place, first of all. Why would I jump up and leave? Mm-hmm. And it's not about that. It's about you respecting and sympathizing with what my people go through. And a lot of them can't do it. And there's a word for that, too. It's called cognitive dissonance. It basically means a lot of them are incapable of sympathizing with black people. They're just incapable of it. That's why they say a bunch of dumb stuff when you start talking about the reality of, you know, this society. But let's get on to the list, though. All right, so black cycles. Things we pass down generation to generation. Things we should change. Things we should keep. Things we should add. All right, so how about number one, mental abuse? Is this a cycle that we pass down from generation to generation? Mental abuse.
I'm going to have to say yes. We definitely pass that down.
Okay.
And a lot of begins with, I guess, if a person didn't get help from when they was mentally abused. It's
true.
More than likely that you're going to abuse somebody else.
And maybe not even understanding what mental abuse is.
That was a good answer.
You know what I mean?
That was a good answer.
Yeah, you know, because it's not being done purposely.
Right.
So we pretty much agree with that. This one in particular is not something that's done personally.
Right.
I'm going to mentally abuse this person, right? Mm-hmm. I heard a description one time. This was actually, ironically enough, this was from the Roots Crew CD. What are they called when they're talking in between the songs?
Excerpt. No,
something like, you know what I'm talking
excerpt,
about, though?
Yeah,
it's like an excerpt or
interlude or something like that.
Interlude, it's an interlude, right? So on the interlude, it's a real conversation that the Roots was having with their A&R back in the day before they got to where they at now. So during the conversation, he speaks on that. He's saying, you know, the differences that we're having is when we go passionate about something and we get to raising our voice, like white people, y'all take it serious, you know what I mean? It hurts you, but as black people, we've been getting yelled at our whole life, you know what I mean? So we're not as sensitive to it. We don't take it like you really want to do something to us and you want to harm us. It's just how we get down, you know. Parents yell at us, friends yell at us, you know what I'm saying? People at school yell at you, you know what I mean? And that's a huge difference. But that actually is a form of mental abuse, though.
Right.
You get what I mean? And with white people not necessarily suffering from that, that's why they looking at the black person like, oh my God, you know, like he's aggressive, she's aggressive. And that's not what it is. Right. It's just what we are accustomed to. You know, we can deal with raised voices and things like that. But at some point, we are going to have to address the mental abuse that we are having, that we've suffered from, and that we continue to pass on. Because cussing at your kids and hollering and screaming, it's mental abuse.
Yeah, that mental abuse, it goes further than that too, because even we just get a lot. Even as a younger person, I remember going to school and all the abuse that I had to take from school. even now when your kids come home with those same issues and you're like, oh no, it's fine and that's the way it should be, and it's not. And that's only because when you haven't dealt with it, you know, in your past life and you still accepted it back then, you kind of have your kids accept it now. And
right.
we're still passing that down.
So that's one form of it, right?
There's a lot of things that's it's just still not right that
hollering
we
and
still
screaming.
pass down, but yet we still tell the kids.
Constantly threatening to hurt the kids.
Even
Because, you know, we grow up hearing that. I will F you up. You get what I'm saying?
Classic cliches in a black home.
Right. I will F you up, boy. I will slap the such and such off you.
See,
you know?
Most of the time dealing with that abuse, we don't look at it as abuse coming up.
Yes.
Because when I was in, like, I would use Washington Park for example.
Because it's discipline. It's discipline.
I used the village as well. Like, when you go in a black area with black people, and it's normal to hear a child say, yo, if you miss that street, like, your mom gonna beat the dirt off you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If somewhere else they would look, oh my God, he's really gonna get beat. We know what's gonna happen, but it's not really that serious.
Right.
It's just like, it's certain rules and regulations that we came used to dealing with. The yelling, the screaming, the getting beat, the getting embarrassed in the middle of the street by your mother and your father, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But now looking at it, it is abuse, but back then, we thought it was normal.
Sure, because it's a form of discipline. It's just it needs to be tweaked a little bit, so it doesn't come with so much cussing, so much hollering and screaming. Yeah, you know, and they were being lighter on us than their parents were on them.
Definitely,
so I think each generation, it does lighten up.
Died down a little bit.
And I think now we're at a point where it's too light.
And
it needs to go back a little bit.
I just had to argue with my son the other day. I'm like, yo, didn't I tell you to stop doing that? Yo looked at me and smiled. I said, yo, my mom would have smacked the shit. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at him like, yo, do you know what I... And we always work backwards.
Right.
If I would have, my mother would have did this. And sad to say, a lot of us black men never say my father.
Right.
That's few.
Right.
So like my mom did this, my mom did this, my mom did that. So it's few. So now that I have an opportunity to raise my son, I gotta also be like, I can be stern, but I have to be understanding.
Right.
Because if I don't do that, it's not gonna be understood between us. He's gonna be afraid of me.
Sure.
Like I was afraid of my mom. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Right.
When she raised that hand, I didn't run, but I didn't want no smoke.
Didn't want no smoke.
You know what I mean?
I don't want no smoke, Mom.
Yeah, but don't you feel like the disciplining that our parents did is a cycle that we should have kept? Did we keep that cycle?
No, I don't think we did, because that's going to be one of them. That's going to be one of them. But
okay, because I don't remember being young when you acted up, your parents saying they taking you to a doctor to see what's wrong with you. No, they beat the bricks off you.
Beat it right on out.
And beat you straight until you got your act together.
Remember Mike Epps on his stand-up said his mom told him, no, his aunt told him, you used to be retarded when you was little. Because
beat it out you. Right.
Now you smart as a whip.
Dave Mason, he commented, he just put a comment up. He put two actually. He said, bad cycles to break that we passed that is our diet, our food culture. He put oodles and noodles, slave food, etc.
Right, yes. So that was actually going to be one of the next one. Eating habits.
Absolutely.
Eating habits. Eating habits is a cycle we need to change. That one needs to be changed because, again, I'll say it again for those who might not have heard me say it on other shows before. I know what the medical community teaches us, that you're black, so you're more prone to high blood pressure. It runs in your family. I'm telling you that that's not true, okay? It's not hereditary for you to have cancer, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, diabetes, any of those things. What is hereditary is your eating habits. We eat the same foods that our parents and our grandparents ate. That's why your uncle was a diabetic and now you're a diabetic. That's why your grandmama had a heart attack and then your cousin had a heart attack. It has nothing to do with it's in your blood. It's because you're black, you're more prone to high blood pressure. These are all lies that are fabricated by the medical community so they can keep sick patients and keep black people sick. The reality is it's the foods that you eat. We call it soul food, and that's a good name for it because as you continue to eat it, that's what you're going to lose, your soul. You're going to die behind. Okay, Yogi said I should get a bell on that. Yeah, so it's actually a good name for it because it's your soul that's dying from eating this food. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm never giving up soul food. I just know how to eat it and, periods. You understand what I'm saying? These eating habits are bad that we have.
And I think our parents did too, because I don't think we stayed exactly on the cycle of when our parents fed us. Because even back when our parents fed us, they still fed us portions, and they did it in increments of times. They didn't let you eat whenever you wanted to.
True.
Like, we wasn't allowed to just run in the house and go straight to the refrigerator and grab something out to eat.
Right. True.
It wasn't dinner time.
True.
So nowadays with the kids, they eat when they want, how much they want, what they want. And back then, we didn't eat what we wanted when we wanted.
True.
The parents made dinner. That's what you were eating.
Very true.
And plus, they cooked. They had a vegetable, a meat, and a starch.
Right.
Now your dinner plate can be just all starch. I don't know.
If you even get a dinner plate, because it's about convenience.
Right. So we still didn't keep the exact cycle of how our parents fed us. Because even remember, in our time, we didn't have a bunch of fat kids running around.
Right.
We just didn't. I know.
I think how they got us technology-wise. Because when she said that's a very good point.
Yeah.
She needs it too. We can get these bells rolling today. Because at the end of the day, I remember coming home getting a pork chop, mashed potatoes, corn, or macaroni and cheese, collard greens, something like that. I remember those days. But we also was never in the houses. We were outside riding bikes. We were playing out in the streets. We had fun. The neighborhood was wide open.
Right.
Nowadays, they set a phone in front of a little kid. It's a video right now, but excuse my friend, said it's a little heavy-set black kid. His mother or father puts up. The plate is this big in front of him. And he eats, and all he does is dance, give the dab after he eats.
Right.
But I'm like, look, he's like 300 pounds now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it like, this is where we're going wrong. Because now they are putting so much sneaky stuff into society, into our minds, that we're killing ourselves without their help.
Yeah, convenience is a big key today. You know what I mean? Okay, so you learned some eating habits that might not have been the best from family. But what keeps you in that zone is the convenience of being able to get McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Buffalo Wild Wings, pizza, cheesesteaks. All these things are convenient, and they were actually kind of treats for us when we was younger.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you didn't know what you was getting for dinner, right?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So when you reach a certain age, and then you able to get buffalo wings whenever you want, cheesesteak whenever you want, pizza whenever you want. This is what's got us overweight. This is a part of our bad eating habits. This is what's got everybody on medication, swollen ankles, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, stroke. All these different things are coming from the food. So what we have to do as adults is first recognize the truth. Stop listening to your doctor. Notice I did not say stop going to the doctor, but stop believing everything that your doctor tells you. Doctors are only designed to treat symptoms. They are not designed, they have not been educated nor taught how to treat the actual problem. They treat the symptoms of the problem. That's why when you go, the first thing they say, what are your symptoms? That's what they're going to treat. So I'm saying if you research nutrition, you will find out ways to cure the disease by changing the things that you eat. And as you do that, you will be passing that down to your children. You will have family members who will chastise you in the beginning, and then a year or two into that, they'll be coming to you for advice, because they'll see how much better you look, how much healthier you look, your weight's down, your skin's got elasticity, and the bumps are going away in the patches. Food is attached to all that. You understand what I mean? Food's attached to all that. So they'll eventually come aboard with it. But that is one of the things that we definitely need some change at. But stay with us. We up on our next break. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We are talking black cycles. We will be back after this short, brief station identification. We'll be back.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out. And
exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously, because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do, and I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular, it's getting that person money, it's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, yes. And I was thinking, like, you know,
the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. Suicidal, depressed, but you won't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. You feel alone even though the people surround you. Popping pills every night even though you know they can't solve it. The emotional pain, it just seems way too heavy. Your mind is racing, wanna scream, somebody help me. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. These type of people sit right under our noses. We don't find out till we're on IG scrolling. We post a few memes, but then it keeps on happening. Something's gotta change, we gotta start talking and telling the truth without the fear of judgment. Gotta come together and really start loving and heal these people cause they slowly dying. Help them believe that their life is worth living. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. I pray there's an end to this suicide demon. We losing people too soon, they cutting and bleeding. They think no one cares, so I wrote this song to tell you, my God, he cares and he can heal you. He sees you when you're crying yourself to sleep, wondering if anybody hears me. You tell yourself you can't go on no more, but your life is worth fighting for. Don't leave this world too soon.
There's a rumor going around that Tyler Perry and Oprah are beefing. Child, let me tell you about this. Tyler, okay, told Oprah, bitch, if you don't have my money, we're going to have a problem. Ooh. Oprah said, what is the problem?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show with your boy, Brother Mike, along with my team members. So we are talking black cycles today, things we pass down from generation to generation. So we was just going over the eating habits. So what I want to say to end on the eating habits is take time out to start learning about nutrition. It's literally going to save your life. Don't worry about losing weight. Worry about eating healthy. The weight will fall off. You'll start looking better, feeling better, and more importantly, it will influence your children, it will influence your family members, and you're just going to live a better life. So yes, we have horrible eating habits, but we can change it. We're in the information age. Information's out here. It's available. Check out some of the back shows of the Black Bottom Man Radio Show where we did shows on nutrition. I go over a lot of valuable information from certain books and authors that I've learned things from and scholars. And just work on that nutrition. That's it at the end of the day. I'll read a comment here. Gary Brown says it's programming, which has a serious negative effect. Yes, I'm assuming, Mr. Brown, that you're referring to why we eat the fast food and the McDonald's and the wings and all that type of stuff. And it is a challenge learning how to eat healthy. You know what I mean? Like I'm still learning. You know, I do better at it this year than I did last year and the year before that. But it is a challenge, but it's worth it because it's your life. Right. You know, it's your life. We just at a stage where we now have an understanding. You cannot just go through life doing what everybody else does. Eating the way they eat, living the way they live. It's going to ruin your health. It's going to ruin your finances. And then you're going to run to a group of people in the medical community who may not even like you and going to say, save me. How much effort do you really think they're going to put forth to save you? Right. That's all I'm saying. Give it some thought. Take control of your life. But let's move on. The next one for Black Cycles. Family secrets. Family secrets. How do we feel about family secrets? I think that's a cycle that needs to change. Too many people didn't find out who their dad was till he was 23, 24 years old. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, thought it was Uncle Tony all them years. Family secrets. Have you guys ever encountered family secrets? You don't have to tell the secret, but just, you know.
I've encountered them because most of these family secrets are because how the cycle came to how they were raised. Certain things happen in black homes that stayed in black homes.
Right.
You had uncles doing something to the niece, you had a father doing something to beating the mother, and it always stayed in-house because most black households were more worried about embarrassment instead of that child or person get the truth being told.
Get a bell on that.
So that's the problem. So that's why they always keep it in-house. It's not about keeping it in-house. This woman or daughter been getting raped for years. You're worried about what the neighbors are going to say. Right. What about this poor little girl who's been getting raped for years by her uncle, who she trusts?
Right.
And that's the problem. Most black people worried about being embarrassed, but will embarrass yourself on social media every single day.
So they ain't thinking like that. So family secrets is something we think needs to change.
Absolutely.
You know, stop having these family secrets. Let these children know who their real relatives are, who their parents are, so forth and so on. And if you got a pedophile in your family, you don't have to broadcast it to the world, but let the family know. That way they don't leave the kids around them. They, you know, like what DL Hughley said, you know, they won't tell you who it is. They just be like, where them kids at?
Right.
You know? Or the kids is out back with Uncle Tony. Get them kids. Right. Y'all go get them kids. The kids come back and look at you. You went out there and got molested. I told you stay away from Uncle Tony.
And that's sad.
Now walk it off. That's real sad. But you know, he was making a joke about it, but it's real.
But
it's very real. Like instead of just saying, listen, Uncle Tony likes to touch on little kids. All right. So we don't let the kids be around him. So yeah, we definitely got to work on that. All right, the next one, violence, cycles of violence within the black community. This is a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer.
Laid out on
that needs to, you know, come to it. I know it'll never come to an end.
Just get rid of it.
I'm going to say we need to develop more patience with each other when it comes to situations. So here's a good way to develop patience. When you having a problem with another black person and you feeling violent, just for a second, pretend that they're white. You'll let it go. Oh, wow. Pretend that they're white. You'll let it all the way go because we're very forgiving of them and we have no interest in putting our hands on them, but we love putting our hands on each other. So just pretend they're white for a minute.
I had a conversation with, I'm shouting out to my man Dave Mason the other day about, he said, have you ever been in an area where you're walking by yourself or you have your children and there's 3 black brothers standing in front of a store? You don't want to do it, but you change your style of movement. You change your style of stare to let them know, like, yo,
right, I'm not
I don't care, I'm here.
Right,
I got my kids. Either you're gonna get it or however you want to do it.
Right.
But I told him also in the same breath, I was like, listen, the way I would get out of it, extend my hand. How you doing, good brother? If that does not work, I've done my justice. So then I'm about to stare you down for the next 15, 20 minutes, because I'm not running if I got my kids with me.
True that.
So I don't know what to tell you.
True that. Yep, it's a way to disarm them.
Yeah, try to show them a little humility instead of just.
Yes.
If no one needs to stop staring. If you gotta look a man in the eye, but if he's looking at you like he wants some smoke, don't look away, but let him know, like, look, I'm looking away because I don't want any smoke.
I'm not your enemy.
Right.
I'm not your enemy. You have to figure out a way to communicate that I'm not your enemy. You know, like I've said it before on other shows, for me in particular, being old enough to be a lot of these youngins' fathers, when I pull up, you know what I mean, then they mean mugging. I get out the car, how you young men doing? When I call them young men, they're holding me in the chain.
Right.
They went from looking like they were ready to kill me to now saying, oh, well, we good, sir. You know what I mean? Or, you know, we good. And I'm like, all right, y'all keep your head up, you know, stay out of trouble, blah, 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 going about my business.
And that right there, I'm guarantee you, if I'm right now, they greeted him on the way back out the store. I'm guaranteed they did.
Absolutely.
Have a good day,
They got a
sir.
little respect for him. I see what they're getting into. I give them Black by the Man postcards, let them know about the brand.
Right.
You know, give them an opportunity. Hey, you want to get into helping us sell some T-shirts and things like that, you know. So, yeah, you know, I try to say some positive words. But, again, it can be challenging because a lot of them are very, very lost. And they're really not trying to hear anything.
Yeah, so where did that cycle go? Where did that brethren cycle go?
Oh, you're in a society that has programmed us to be against each other. You get what I'm saying? You know, everything about it, what I mentioned during the break, it's been proven that if you place people in what's known as marginal living conditions, it produces pathological survival behavior. So that's what they did with black people when they put us in these housing projects, in these ghettos. That is marginal living conditions, right? And then you oppress them with the same problems. Can't get jobs, can't get the right pay rate, can't get health insurance, liquor store on every corner, drugs all throughout the neighborhood, guns all throughout the neighborhood. That produces pathological survival behavior. So when black people hear another black person say, it's white people that's doing this to us, and then they say, we have to stop blaming the white man, you're incorrect. No, it is white people's fault. It's done by design. You have to understand you are simply looking at the effect. Now, it's not that I don't think black people should stop killing each other. I do. But I'm saying that's an effect. You have to find out what caused this. And when you find out what caused it, you will see it was white people at play who put you in those situations. You know, like I always say, imagine this, right? Imagine if you took a mouse, right? And you put a mouse inside a box the size of this table, right? And within that box, you put everything that mouse is used to. Trees, dirt, ants, whatever else, right? At some point, the mouse is going to find the wall, the edge of the box, right? Even though he's got everything within that box. From that point forward, now that he's found that wall, he wants to know why that wall is there, and he wants to escape it. He wants to get to the other side. He realizes he's boxed in.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Okay, so that's going to change the way he sees things. But imagine if you took that same mouse and you put him in another box, but you made this box the size of Baltimore City. He'll never find the wall. He'll never know that he's boxed in. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's what they did with us. We're boxed in, and we don't know that we're boxed in. We're just reacting to us fighting each other within the box.
Right.
We don't know that someone put a wall up around us and boxed us in.
Right.
So that's my best analogy for it.
So you know that is deep, because in order for us to get a cure or get better, we have to first come out of denial.
Yes, you got to come out of denial of how this happened. You know, like, yes, we advocate nonviolence against each other, but the fact that it happens so much, and then you see that it's not happening this way for other races, right? You should know it's a puppet master's hand at play. You get what I mean? So it's you know, when we look at us doing it to each other and black people say, we got to stop blaming white people. No, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. This is their society. They created it. If white people did not want black people killing each other in the ghettos, they would put an end to it. I can prove it to you. It's called gentrification. When they ready for that shit to come to an end, they start rebuilding the neighborhoods. They start moving black people out, and the only black people that get to stay is black people who know how to act and can afford to be there.
Right.
So that's the proof that they can change it. It's all done by design. You create this, this pot full of gumbo of violence and drugs and guns, and then when it pops off, you sit back and you point at those people and you say, look at them, they're savages. You get what I'm saying? But we up on another break. Stay with us. We'll be back. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. Yes, it is their fault.
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste. I've been bad, burned and fucked over, but remain strong through the Passover. Kicking haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me that let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, no pen I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I beat the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator, but I can't save you. It'll be too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry favors. Always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper. I can't breathe, give me 3 feet. I never let y'all be the death of me. When my patience run thin, yeah, nigga OT, cause they wanna see me down like I'm an CT. 6 words, get the fuck away from me. Say I help you out if you can help yourself. I keep it G till I DIE. Now excuse me while I get back to PC. HOP ain't losing sleep while your third eye always on me. I'm stacking green just to feed the team. My boo, she know that I'm king when chasing my dream. These niggas it seems I rip them, trash them, then put on new jeans. Man, see the problem is, man, you know, I keep it 100, man. Yeah, man, like if I got it, then you got it. Yeah, man, but if I don't got it, then I'ma give it. You feel me? But I definitely got you through the ride, man. Let's get it, yo.
I'm really getting tired of ungrateful ass niggas. They really about to turn me to a hateful ass nigga. Like I was never there when you never had figures. Pull triggers for you niggas when you caught up in the trenches. Man, I really don't get it. I don't know what's going on, but I really don't feel it. Niggas really know that I've been there from the beginning, but the more I see niggas side switch, it make me wanna bring it closer to the end, and that's why I can't fuck around with these niggas. I'll fuck around with my hoes, cause niggas acting like bitches and hoes acting like bros. Man, I swear I really don't get it. How people switch up they roles. First it was nothing but love, but nowadays I don't know. It seems like anything goes. Where can I go? Cause lately fucking with you, I just stand at a fork in the road and it's hurting my soul.
Black by Demand Radio Show.
2 years ago. If you broke that bike and it don't work, that's on you, brother. I suggest you get that toolkit out back and then start working with it, right? Yeah. So my son's looking at me like, wow. And I broke down to him how we had got fixing flat tires down to a science. You understand what I mean? Sticking the tube in the water. Right? Talk to me, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, critical thinking. And see, and we look at that now and like kids, they not as on hands like we were back in the day.
That's because nowadays you don't.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, we are back with the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We're talking Black Cycle, so I was going over how there's a puppet master at play that is causing this in our neighborhoods through poisoning the food, bringing in drugs, alcohol, oppression, jobs, not enough money, so forth and so on. But during the break, Miss Janice brought up another very valid point, which was the recent experiment that they did. For those who don't think that these white people are controlling this, then explain the Popeye's chicken situation, okay? That's what they do. Look what that Popeye's chicken situation did to black communities. Black people not only gave these people millions of dollars, but we literally was fighting each other inside the restaurants, inside the drive-thru. See, puppet masters control this. And just like that, it's gone. We ain't heard nothing about no Popeye's chicken. We ain't heard nothing about people dying in the Dominican Republic. We have no idea how much they control all of this.
We haven't even had people lining up at Popeyes anymore.
Yeah,
like the lines.
People forgot about Popeyes.
The sad thing about it, just like what month is October? I think around February or March, they just showed a video of a mouse running through the Popeyes food.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So how can you not see that? And that chicken sandwich is so good with that rat poop in there. I bet it is.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's a white-owned business that uses a black woman as the front person to keep us believing that that we eating her cooking. You know what I mean? Like, this is her recipes. It is not. She's an actress.
Yeah, but you can also, I mean, this is just common sense. Like, you know they do something to the food. Like, nobody can tell me that you've never had fast food before that you didn't smell and question it.
Right.
Like, it had a certain stench to it.
Right.
Like, I don't care where you got it. It could have been Chinese
That's
food.
right. You knew
it could have been
something right.
fast food. You smell.
We eat that Chinese food knowing that ain't chicken. You know that ain't chicken. That
you
does
smell
not taste
something
like chicken.
that made you think like, why?
Right.
So no.
Yeah, does not taste like chicken.
I've never tasted beef and broccoli where beef is chewy.
Chewy.
Never.
Yeah, that's cat and dog. That's what that is. That is cat and dog. The best kind of fast food to eat, and I know most people are thinking Chick-fil-A, but actually the best one to eat is none of them. It's all garbage, okay? Don't eat none of that crap. I know Chick-fil-A's the new favorite now. You know, for some reason with this Christian and good attitude, we've equivocated this to being healthy food. You know, it's the same chickens that Popeye's getting.
Chick-fil-A.
It is too.
Chick-fil-A went hard when they started closing, when they don't open on Sundays.
Right.
They was really messing with your
Chick-fil-A
mind.
started asking people how their day was, and people went crazy. You know, welcome to Chick-fil-A. How's your day going? Like, you know what, man, give me 3 or 4 of them.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
And get a cool iced tea to go
Yeah,
with
cool
it.
iced tea. You know, we're a Christian establishment. We close on Sunday. Chick-fil-A poisoning everybody just like Popeyes.
Iced tea slash the diabetes. Cut that in half.
All right, let's move on to our next cycle. Allowing our children too many options with what they want to do with their life. Does that make sense? You get what I'm saying? Like as a community of people, we let our children, you know, choose what they want to do, which is, that's not bad, right? But I'm saying a lot of them don't know what to choose. So at some point, I believe parents should start guiding them. You know, I always use the example that Eli Manning and Peyton Manning are both quarterbacks in the NFL who won Super Bowls.
Right.
It is not ironic that their father also was a quarterback in the NFL. So am I supposed to think that they both grew up and said we're going to be quarterbacks in the NFL? I don't think so. One of them might have wanted to be a lawyer. It was their dad who said, no, you're going to be a quarterback in the NFL and you're going to win the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying it fits every child, but I think with us, we leave it wide open to them. Like, well, what's he want to do? Oh, I don't know. First he wanted to do this, then he wanted to do that. I think we have to be more attentive with helping them choose. Say, listen, why don't you go this route for now and try this out? We leave it up to them and then they end up being nothing.
I think I'll let you go first. It's always women before men. Positive.
That was a very good point, what you just said, because just think about it with children. Think about adults at work. They have supervisors and managers who need to guide them.
Valid point. Valid point.
Those are grown adults who need guidance.
Who need guidance.
Why
Valid
wouldn't
point.
a child?
You another bell on that. That was a good one.
So
that was an awesome supporting statement.
Right.
That was nice because that's a valid point. You know, I remember when my son got his first job, I told him, you know, he's just getting into the weekday workforce. And like, son, you got to prepare yourself mentally because you're going to go into this thinking I'm working with adults. Everybody's older than me. It's going to be good guidance. No, you're going to be working with adults who act like children. That's why they have supervisors. That's why they have managers. They're going to spend majority of their day trying not to do work. Don't you go in there and adapt those habits. You get what I mean? Don't push those habits. Don't let those habits get pushed onto you. But yeah, I think we need to be more active in choosing what our children are going to be.
I think it should be like, both had very good points, but my thing with this is it should be a starting line. The starting line should give them a little bit of knowledge of where they should go, like give them steps. Because the first thing you tell them, kindergarten, first grade to fifth, 6th to 8th, 8th, 9th to 12th, and then you're out of there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There should be some sort of game plan so they can probably have a good finish.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Have something
That's a good point. You actually need a game plan for life, even if you finish college. Because like when kids go to college, we tend to think, oh, he's got a degree, right? He's good to go. Well, he still doesn't know anything about life because he went from high school into college. Right. So when it comes to money affairs and things like that, they're really mentally at the same spot. They're more educated on a particular career that they're going into to get a particular job. Right. Still don't really know nothing about life. So children actually need a game plan after school, after college, so forth and so on. My son in particular, you know, he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. So at a certain point, I chose it for him. You're going to be an entrepreneur. That's it, period. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know anything else you want to do and you ain't going hard at nothing else. So you're going to be like dad. You're going to be an entrepreneur. Right now, he owns a company. You know, he got his first little startup. See what I'm saying? You know, be more active. Or I could have been like we grow up. Like, well, he'll figure it out. He might not.
Enough rope to hang himself.
Yeah, he might not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I chose it for him. So I think sometimes we have children, well, we need to choose it for them, or they're going to be left trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? And you know, it doesn't usually work out for us.
Especially now, because these kids growing up now, they're growing up with these phones. They're growing up with these the false pretense that they can really make it.
Right.
But then when you look out your front door, or you hear on the news that out of 10 black men, 6 are only surviving.
Right.
Because they're killing us in the streets by the police officers. If it's not food, then it's high blood pressure, heart disease, and so forth, so on. Or even prison. Some of us are not coming home.
True.
Go in one way, come out the next.
True. Very, very true.
And you made a real good point when you said some of the kids are growing up with the phones. Yes. And they're growing up with the televisions, so they're watching doctors and lawyers on TV, television.
Right.
So they're thinking this is how this occupation is going to go.
Right.
So they never really do any real research on it. They got it from reality TV, TV shows, and now they're saying this is what they want to be when they grow up, having no idea what it really is.
What it really entails.
Yeah, kids definitely need some guidance when they are younger. So yes, if they speak of they want to be a fireman when they grow up, then yeah, parents need to give them information on firemen.
Right.
Or if you want to be a police officer. I remember my son growing up, and he was fascinated with the military. He wanted to go into the Army, but after research, yeah, that changed. He didn't want to go to the Army anymore.
Right.
So yes, they do need to know some type of informational research when they're younger. They
Yeah,
need
I
some
think
guidance.
they're being more influenced by, like you said, television and media as to what they want to do with their life versus their parents. You know, and I'm gonna give away a big secret on this one, right? Because people may not see this as a secret, but trust me, it is. When it comes to work, we pick work based on money. That is actually not the way, like experts would tell you. You should pick a job based on what you like to do in life. So like I said, if you take two 18-year-olds and say one wants to be a cook, right? But they both have an opportunity to work in this warehouse that's going to pay them $18 an hour straight from the muscle. We all would say they both should take that job, right? But I say no. I say the other kid should take a job at McDonald's and become a cook on the grill, right? Okay, so let's say he does that because that's what he really wants to be in life. All right, 2 years later, the guy at the warehouse may have moved up. He's making a little bit more money. But now the little boy that was at McDonald's on the grill got enough grill experience where he now is working as a prep cook in another restaurant.
Right.
You understand what I mean? 3 years after that, the guy in the warehouse might become a line leader, right? He's making a little bit more, but he still works 12 hours a day, 4 days a week, so forth and so on. Now the little boy that started at McDonald's is a sous chef inside the same restaurant. See, you see where I'm going with this? This dude was making money in the warehouse from the beginning. The young man wasn't, but he pursued what he wanted to do with his life. Within 5 years, the money caught up to the young man that was doing the cooking. Now he makes the same money as the guy in the warehouse who's a line leader, but the difference is he hates the warehouse. It hasn't gotten better, but the little boy loves that he's a sous chef inside of a particular restaurant. So you actually should pursue a job that deals with advancing you within your career. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want to be a makeup artist, you should get a job doing makeup. You know, if you want to, you know, learn how to do whatever, you know, bowl. You should get a job in the bowling alley. Don't just take a job based on money. Because when we take jobs strictly based on money, that's how we get stuck in these jobs and everybody's hating Monday morning. Everybody doesn't hate Monday morning, but most people do because they got to go to this job that pays them enough money to pay their bills, but they really hate the job. They hate the job and they hate the people. So I would recommend teaching that to children at an early age because at an early age, you can afford to be working a job that's not paying you the type of money you want, but you're getting the experience that you want for the field you want to go into.
And that's also a really good point too. It's taking a job for the money. It's not about how much money you make.
Right.
It's about how much money you keep.
It's about how much you keep. And that's one of the secrets. Take a job that deals with what you want to do, not just based on money. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about some cycles that we want to keep. How about discipline? This is a cycle we should keep, right? What do we need to change with it, though?
The vulgarity of it. You know, when you're way more aggressive than you need to be. You know, simple sit down. It's like, I'm gonna hit you in your mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Right, okay.
Or like you come in and you do something dumb. You're like, man, I should slap you. You know, they
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying? So I think the tone should be brought down a little bit. I think it should be a little bit more speech, but sternness with it though.
Right. Okay. So we're not eliminating switches altogether, but we saying try to develop better verbal skills without all the yelling and howling and screaming and cussing, right? And then using, you know, the rod when absolutely necessary.
Right.
That was funny because the very first thing came to my mind was the aggression.
Right.
And a lot of times, you know, when you get in a situation when you're going to reprimand somebody, sometimes that situation takes you back to another situation. And when you're reprimanding this situation, you have that situation in mind.
Right.
So you're really being even more aggressive.
More aggressive, right.
Because you're like saying
Well, beat
everything
the hell out
you
of this
wanted
kid.
to say to this person, but now this person is getting the backlash. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yes, take the aggression.
Take the aggression out, right?
Out of it.
But keep the discipline. All right, how about one we should keep? Teaching respect.
So,
'Cause that's lacking today. They got no respect today.
the respect is out the window.
Out the window. Now, what happened there? How did we get here? Black children always had respect.
I had not an altercation, but I was so like angry because I told a young lady, I said, look, y'all doing a whole bunch of like hooping and hollering around this house or whatever, take it up the street.
Right.
She looked at me in my eyes and said, yeah, my house is right next door. Pretty much she ain't got to go nowhere.
Right.
I was in cuss out mode. I almost thought of everything under the sun because I'm like, once you step outside of children's zone into an adult's shoes, then I'll treat you as such. No one hit a child, but I will cuss you like an adult.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it kind of blew me. So like, no child nowadays know their lane, including my own.
The respect left with the discipline. When the discipline left, so did the respect.
How did it happen, though? You know what I mean? Like, what broke that stopped our discipline?
The 1-800 number. If your mom hits you, call this number.
Okay.
And these kids will call it.
Yeah.
You know, we got, like back in the day, I wish you would call the police. By the time they get here, they be locking me up and you dead. That's what your parents would say to you.
Oh, I'll help you pack.
Right.
I'm moving out. I'm going to help you pack.
Back in the day, the line that I remember the most is if it come from the mouth, it's going in the mouth.
It's going in the mouth.
So that disrespectful word come out the mouth, then this hand is going in the mouth.
How about honoring our elders?
So,
Do we still honor our elders? I don't think young folks even care what the elders have to say, which is so sad. That's so just heartbreaking.
Now, I have to be honest. Some of the people that are older than me have reverted back into children's stages.
Okay.
So I lost some respect for them. Not that I don't respect them. I just lost the respect that I once had for them.
Okay. Well, I definitely think that respect has been lost amongst the youngins, you know, because they'll put their hands on an older person. I just seen them talking about this on the Breakfast Club. You know what I mean? With the one comedian, I forgot his name, little dark-skinned boy with the high voice like Chris Tucker. He be on Wild 'N Out all the time. I can't remember his name. But he's of the younger generation, so he was giving his perspective of why
DC Young Fly.
DC Young Fly, there you go. He was giving his perspective like from the younger generation versus the older generation. And a lot of them, they really do feel like, you know, you got to earn respect to get it. It's like, wow.
Kids, dude.
Yeah, it's
Where
like,
that came
wow.
from?
Well, I don't know where that
They
came
got a
from.
free ride, so they don't understand how. Like, I'm going to be honest. When I was coming up, they were older than me. We never once said he can't tell you a disrespectful word I said to him.
Right.
In 30 years.
That's right.
And they have some of these kids out here thinking that anyway because of the parents.
They ain't like, hit their mouth.
I've seen situations
All in
where
their mouth.
parents wanted like a grown adult to apologize to their child. Yeah.
Not me.
Right.
I'm just saying, so kids get it from their parents where they get this. You have to give respect to get respect.
Yeah, that's terrible. You know what I
So-
mean? Because that's a horrible teaching. Any youngins that listen to this show, you know, you should respect elders. They've been on earth longer than you. They know more than you. And even if you don't agree with their ways, have enough respect to tolerate them for the time that you're around them. Because that's the thing that kills me. Like, you know, when we were younger, we had things with older folks that we didn't like, but we had the respect level to tolerate them for the time that we was around them. Like, yeah, I got to take my grandmother to the store, so I know I'm going to have to listen to these oldie but goodies, you know, but we did it. These kids today, like, look, I don't want to listen to that. Right. I'm putting the radio on 92Q. You get what I'm saying? Like, they don't,
it back, Grandma.
you know.
Put it right in the back.
Right.
Have his head up front in the front seat.
All I'm saying is, like, yes, to this day, you know, I'm 40 oblivious years old. And,
I thought she was 29.
No, I'm oblivious. But, and there's no way I can disrespect an elder. I've had an elder working for me before who straight, like, cursed me out.
Right.
But there's no way that
we was raised a little different. Yeah, we was raised a little different.
Elder. I've had a 65-year-old tell me, like, you've met the right one now, and I was just blown away. But there was still no way that I was going to be
like, wow, like, you 65 and you still angry.
There was still no way I was going to be disrespectful, because
Life
that's just
not
like
good to you.
Derrick said. Like, there's some elders, you know, who revert back to I don't know their younger generation, but I just think it's just something mental they never dealt with in their life, and you know, it's just catching up with them. And now,
I gotta be honest, I had a couple episodes with a couple older people. I had a couple episodes, man. I'm like, I've never, and you know me personally, I've never jumped out my way to disrespect anybody.
Right.
But my only thing, as me coming into a man, like, I'll be 42 in 2 months.
Right.
So me coming into as a man, the older generation won't let us go.
True.
Shut up, young boy. You're like, man, I'm 40 now.
Have some respect for me, man. I'm somebody's daddy.
Right. So
somebody's daddy.
That's where the problem comes in with me. Not that I won't respect them. Like, I'm getting up in age. How long will it be till I get that respect I deserve? The younger generation, how you doing, sir? What's going on? How you doing today, sir?
Right.
I go to you. What's going on, homie? What's up, little nigga? Excuse me. But that's how it will go.
Homie.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get that acknowledgement that you earned.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So that's why I say I had a couple episodes.
I understand, brother. All right, so before we wrap this up, let's try to get in some of the cycles that we should add into the black community. So one of the first ones I think is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I use my son as an example. He didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. I decided for him, be an entrepreneur, right? Try to get your own business started. I helped him start his own little business. Now he's officially a little business owner, right? And, you know, he'll go through trial and error, learning different things, and hopefully, you know, it works out for him. So I think entrepreneurship should be an option on the table, because I remember being younger, I never heard this word a day in my life.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know it was an option to say, I want to be a business owner. You know, I don't want to work for someone the rest of my life. But today, it's a very doable option. There's a lot of information out here because we're in the information age. And YouTube, it's got your answers for everything pretty much. Everything. You know, you to it. So I think entrepreneurship should be added in. And also financial literacy. This is very important. You know, whether you're going to be an employee or an employer, you need financial literacy to do better in this life. And the only way to get that is to pursue it in your own personal time. You know, get books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Next Door, Millionaire Mind, things of this nature, to learn about financial literacy, right? Yes. Because this is what's going to make our situation even better for what we have right now. All of us have more money than what we think. We don't have financial literacy to track our money and then do the right thing with the money that we have. Right. You know, we do a lot of, you know, loosely spending. You know, we're all victims of it because the society itself promotes it. Promotes it. That's why you get bombarded with, you know, billboards and ads. You can't even watch a YouTube video today without seeing 4 ads within 5 minutes of the video. You know,
they got it to the point one time, like you see the little yellow dots on there. You know how many groceries you got in
there? You look at that video and see all them yellow dots. Like, I'm not watching this.
I'm not even gonna watch
this. And you know it's bad now where YouTube actually offers you the opportunity to, what is it, YouTube Plus or whatever, but it's commercial free.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you got to pay for it. You know what I mean? So that shows you how bad it's gotten. How we looking on time, Aldo?
So I think one of the cycles we need to bring back is books and reading.
Shucks.
We used to have, growing up, you had so many books in your home to read. Parents made you read. Like, you came home from school, did your homework, you had to dedicate a couple hours to reading. There was not going straight to no television. Like, you had to dedicate some hours to read. And so we definitely need to bring back books, because the more you know, of course, the more you're going to grow. So
Sure.
Right now, I think one of the cycles we need to get back is...
I'll tell you what I thought was a great idea that's happening in some neighborhoods. Now, I don't think it's happening in our neighborhoods, but I've seen it in neighborhoods where they are putting up a bookcase, like somewhere in the neighborhood, near the mailboxes or whatever, where people just put books in there that they're willing to let other people take with them. So you go by and it's a bookcase, you can open it up, it's books in there. If you want to read one, you take it, read the book, and you put it back. So it's on what they call the good system, you know, where they're trusting that you're not going to keep the book.
Honest system.
That was a really good idea. I would love to see that in black neighborhoods. I actually put out it was just cookbooks that I had for years, and I put them on top of the mailboxes in my neighborhood, and people started taking them eventually. It was about 20 of them. I seen, you know, people looking at them like it was an alien or something, you know, sitting on top of the mailboxes. They looking like, what is this? It's books, it's cookbooks, you get what I mean? But the ideal I got from these other neighborhoods that sent books out, you know, because I didn't need them anymore because I eat differently. I was just going to throw them away. Tried to give them away, but nobody really wanted them. Then I thought, you know what? I'm going to sell them out on the mailbox and see if people take them away.
But I have one thing I got to say about us as a people, and what you said was a very good thing to do, but the first thing a black man is going to say is that white people stuff. And we won't even do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a product of that. I am.
Right, yeah.
So most people think I get on here and be trying to point on everybody else. I'm my worst critic. That'd been the first thing I'd have said. I'm gonna put some white people stuff.
White people.
You know what I'm saying? It's the truth.
Right.
So what I'm saying is I'm saying this for myself.
1 minute, and then what we got left after that? So we can wrap it up at regular time.
We can go to the break and then go back
Well, let's do break and then we'll wrap up 5 minutes after that. Okay. All right, cool. All right, Dwayne Harrison says Edgewood Boys and Girls Club. Okay, see, I didn't know that. So they got one of them at the Edgewood Boys and Girls Club. Good. I'm going to go by there and get me a book and put a book in there. That's good, because that's a good idea, man. It encourages people to read, and even if people who don't actually, you know, take the books, it's the fact that they see that and the kids get to see that. You know, people understand that, yeah, it's free books over there. You know, if you want to read a book, take the book, read it, and bring it back when you're done. So yeah, I agree. We should get books in here.
How about one of the cycles to bring back is to let kids be kids again. Like back when we was growing up, we used to get to go to the park, run around, ride your bikes, play.
Right.
Now kids, 2 years old, they're out twerking, having hotel birthday parties.
2 years old.
I'm serious. It'd be 4-year-old.
She is.
4-year-old birthday parties coming in hotels.
Right.
Is this one of the cycles? Like, why can't kids be kids?
That would be awesome. I don't think they want to be. I think they got so many things to do.
Have a little birthday party in your house, in the kitchen for the 3-year-old. Why are they at the hotel? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
Like,
I get
this is how kids are growing up too fast. And now they're becoming too grown at a certain age. And we're like, why?
The thing of it, that what bothers me most with that is once it's all fun and games right now. 3-year-old little girl, she's dancing, popping the back, whatever you have.
Right.
When she's 11, 12 years old with that 2-year-old baby,
that
she had it now.
Sassiness is not cute. It needs to be nipped in the bud. Needs to be nipped in the bud. But stay with us. We up on break. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We will be back.
Yeah,
it's not cute at all.
Can you remember if we were 2-year-old and started singing our back?
This unknown to find who we really are. Crash into something new. Take a break from our broken heart. Talk with the hip, tell me you lie. I think we should go for another round. Baby, try not to say too much. Let your love come down. If you wanna rule, it's some rules you gotta live by. Live by. Stay true to your cool, make a move. Don't wait on nobody else. And if it feels like a melody, sing a song, be my radio. And if you follow me there, I'll follow you back. Let the night unfold. I can tell that she can't get enough. Show enough, she couldn't keep her hands off from me. Oh no, she couldn't keep her hands off from me. Got your hands till we dance in the dark.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are wrapping up today's show. It's the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We were talking black cycles. So right now we're going to finish with cycles that we feel we should add. So the first one was entrepreneurship. Second one was financial literacy. The third one is teaching our daughters to respect themselves. Ew. Don't you think we should add this in? I feel like young ladies today don't respect themselves.
That goes all in with the twerking.
Right.
There are kids who know their first curse word at 3. I didn't even know what a curse word was.
So how can we approach this
3, like,
to get it back on track? My suggestion is black mothers need to take responsibility for your daughters. Stop sitting back and acting like it's cool for your daughter to act that way because all her friends act that way. We all know we didn't come from that background. Our parents were the first ones to say, I don't care what your little friends do, you're my child. We lost that somewhere.
It even goes deeper than that with the young girls or whatever, because, and I don't want to get blasted for this, but even at 5 years old, like, we're putting weaves in these girls' heads.
Right.
Like,
Stop
that
it.
changes their attitude
Right.
at that age. Like,
Right.
when you're an adult and get a certain hairdo, like the way you feel, or it changes you, like a 3-year-old, 5-year-old isn't ready for that.
Right.
So you're making them grown too soon.
Okay.
And it's just ruining.
I agree. Totally agree. It's definitely something that black mothers have to do. You know what I mean? The fathers, if you have a father, great, he can influence this as well. But it's a little girl. So you're dealing with the mothers. You know what I mean? They have to make them understand how to be ladies and stop being like these other little girls. Like, someone's got to break the cycle. Someone's got to say, my daughter doesn't do that. You get what I mean? My child doesn't do that. I don't allow my child to do that. If I catch her doing it, it's going to be a penalty.
It has to be some sort of discretion, because when we were coming up, my mother did certain things that we never knew about.
Right.
When she went out, she got dressed with her door closed. She came out dressed. She walked out the front door. When she came in, if she was drunk or anything, she did not let us know. We were asleep.
Right, you were asleep.
We didn't come in 2, 3 o'clock in the morning banging the music, dance, got the kids out in the living room. She didn't do that. It was discretion. Nowadays, everything, you're taking videos with the girl, you're getting dressed in makeup, putting your hair on. Your daughter's 4 years old right next to you. She dances as hard as you are.
Right. It's not cute.
There's no discretion.
It's
so
not cute.
Go back to the days when you watched your mother get dressed.
Yeah.
And she covered herself. She made sure she was covered. She did her makeup with the door closed. And if you want to go in there, she would play with your makeup, but also would say, if you touch my makeup, I'm going to whip your butt.
Right. It's all about taking responsibility.
Just like
I don't feel like a lot of these black mothers are taking responsibility for their daughters. They're just looking at it like, hey, she does what everybody else does. Well, we can't keep doing that. We cannot keep doing that.
The 10-year-old little girls that has the babysit their sisters and brothers while their mom is out partying, that's not right. Like, these kids don't want to grow up this fast. And then you wonder why the 15-year-old have a child. Like, she's been doing this since she was 10. Like, this is serious. Like, it's
very serious.
It's so deep.
It's very serious. So I think that's one of the things we should add. We got to teach our daughters to respect themselves. Let's get back to having debutante balls and things of that nature instead of twerking contests.
Yes.
Let's get back to them wanting to be little ballerinas and princesses instead of wanting to be Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. You know what I mean? Stop letting these little girls see that type of stuff and admire that. Make her admire you. No matter who you are. If you work for a living, if you're an entrepreneur, whatever you are, make your little girl see the beauty in you being her mother, and that you don't do that kind of stuff.
And get her out of sex does not sell. She will find herself in a place where she can never get out.
Right. Okay. All right, so let's do the next one. We're running out of time here. Next one I think we should add would be allowing our children to stay home longer after they finish high school. Newsflash, an 18-year-old is not ready for this world. I know we all grew up like he 18, I put him out. No, he's not ready for this world. He's going to get out in this world, and the world's going to eat him up. And even if he starts surviving, that's all he's going to do the rest of his life is survive. That's all she's going to do is survive. They're not going to thrive. We want our children to thrive. Keep your child home longer. Prepare them for this world. Prepare them for life. I think that's one of the things we need to add. I think we put our children out too early.
Yes.
I think we put too much emphasis on that number 18.
Yes.
Like, oh, he's 18, she's 18, she can do what she wants. No, that's not true. That's still a child. That's the same child from 16 and 17.
Yes.
A little bit of 15 left in her.
I agree.
But that goes back, and I'll revert back to slavery times, because they had us in the field 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. Then when the draft came into place, you was old enough to go and draft when you turned 18. That made you a man all of a sudden.
Right. So remember, these numbers have been decided by people who don't look like you. So it cannot be what we use as a measuring stick for our children. Right. Okay, so the last one is teaching our children the importance of group economics. That means black by demand. Teach them the reasons they should support black businesses, how it will improve the community, how it will give a sense of pride, how it will keep us competitive as a race of people against the other races that are within our country. We need our team competitive. We are not as competitive as we could be because we do not practice group economics. For those who don't know what group economics is, it means spending money with businesses created by your people. So if you're black, you spend money with black businesses. Teach them the importance of it. There was a time where parents taught the children the importance of buying black. I think we've gotten away from that because social media and all these things teach us to buy all this other stuff. And it's fine if you want to buy it. I don't recommend it. But if you do, you do. But still support black businesses. So with that being said, we are eventually going to enact what's known as Black by Demand Day. And that is going to be one day a month where we demand that people support a black business on that day. So stay tuned with that. It's going to be Black by Demand Day. We're getting it in motion now. It's going to be a day for group economics. So we're going to help keep pushing this into people's minds. So when we get that started, I'm expecting everybody in our audience on Black by Demand Day to buy something black. And you can start with blackbydemand.com. So that's pretty much it for the show. Any closing remarks, team?
Great show.
Great show?
Yes.
Mr. Woodson?
Great as always. I hope people watch this radio show, man. Educate your mind. Understand this is not poking nobody who they are, what they've done in their life. This is to educate your mind and to make you think for once. That's it.
Yes, that's it. I'll read the last comment. Mr. Gary Brown, he says their brain is still developing at 18. Absolutely. Not ready for the real world. So again, we thank everybody for tuning in with us today. Get back with us next Monday. We'll be back with another live show from 12 to 2 p.m. On behalf of the Black by Demand team and my team members, Mr. Derrick Woodson, my co-host, the lovely Miss Janice. I'm your boy, Brother Mike. I'll see you next week. I'll catch you on the flip side. That's the black side. Peace.
Like the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what